What is going on, true believers? I hope you're having a great morning. My name is Bleeds. We're here to talk about one big question of the day. Is Donald Trump a grifter, or is Donald Trump the best thing that's ever happened to cryptocurrency? If you look at the charts right now, then most of you should be saying that grifter. Most of you are probably going to say bad. Trump bad, crypto good, because we haven't seen a catastrophic dump, the nature of which we've seen over the last 4 months in the history of crypto. In the last 4 months, we've had the two largest liquidation events ever recorded in cryptocurrency, and we don't see any sort of upside. We see a president who promised us a Clarity Act and didn't get the Clarity Act passed through, who promised us that crypto was going to enter a golden age, and all we've seen is a massive dump while gold is actually accelerating. And the reason for that is that people are afraid. And when you go into precious metals, the reason that you do that is because you're not feeling comfortable with the people in charge and their ability to handle money. Gold and silver and precious metals replace physical money when people are in times of nervous sentiment. And when people are feeling calm and people are feeling good about the markets, the end result of that is high levels of risk asset involvement. And guess what we're not seeing right now? High levels of risk asset involvement. In fact, when we talk about, and we've had these conversations many, many times before, I've told you that there are certain levels of DeFi that we would really like to see every single day. And instead, yesterday, we only had $4 billion in trading volume in DeFi over the top 4 DeFi protocols, which is insanity. We've not seen numbers like that since the real bear market. So I guess at this point we have to say we are in a bear market. But is it a Trump bear market, and will we come out of it very quickly, or is this something deeper and more? We're going to break this down. We're going to talk to you about it, so you're going to know exactly what's going on with this. And look, if you're a Trump fan, I think, my opinion, continue to be a Trump fan. If you don't like Donald Trump, continue to not like Donald Trump. But remember that at the end of the day, we made this choice for cryptocurrency because Donald Trump offers what Joe Biden did not, and that was acceptance of cryptocurrency. It just hasn't panned out the same way because there were a lot of different issues that are affecting the U.S. that are not crypto related, and the President of the United States has to do something about those. So stick around. Here comes the intro. Here comes the intro. And also, here comes the intro.
It's your boy Bleeds. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
All right, ladies and germs and ball-headed worms, we're here, and we're... Wait a minute, I'm not supposed to say that, right? Anyway, for full disclosure, I watched Murder in Glitterball City over the weekend, and damn. That's from my hometown, by the way. I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky. Glitterball City is, for those of you who don't know, that's where disco balls have been made for the last 100 and something years. 99% of all disco balls in the world are made in Louisville, Kentucky. So somebody jokingly once called it Glitterball City, and this was the story of 3 men who engaged in a relationship, and one of them murdered the other one, and they may have arrested the wrong guy. It's a crazy, crazy story. It's on HBO Max. If you haven't already, go check out Murder in Glitterball City. It's absolutely crazy. And by the way, Jason Riley, I went to school with Jason Riley, who is one of the investigative journalists in the show. So this was, for me, I was like, wow, I can't believe I know the guy who's on this show. And he's not the one doing it. You know, not the other he's not the one that, you know what I'm talking about. Stop being weird. I'm not being weird. You're being weird, you weirdo. All right, let's talk about what's going on in crypto right now. The question of the day is Donald Trump a grifter, or is Donald Trump good for crypto? That's the question, right? And that's the question that's on everybody's mind. And in fact, here's what I did. I went to X, Trump Crypto. I just did this before we started because I wanted it to be fresh, okay? 23 hours ago, we had this. Eric Trump is deleting all Crypto X related posts. Crypto is about to rug hard, and the Trump insiders are about to get exposed. Now, that didn't happen. We did have another dip, okay? We didn't have a catastrophic dip from where we were, but we had another dip, and people get nervous because, you know, people are, number one, babies, and number two, engagement farming. We all do it. You know you're doing it. Also, being Jay Wood, if you invested your life savings in Trump crypto, you're pretty close to broke by now. Then that's pretty much true. The Trump family has done more damage to crypto than anyone else in history. Trump is in the, we're not talking about the files. Trump screwed the bull run. Crypto was better with Biden. By the way, financially, that might be true. But crypto did pretty good under the first Donald Trump run as well. So those dips have been happening for a long time. So this is not something new. So yes, there are moments where you can look at the chart and you could say that crypto was better with Biden. There are moments where you can say that. But there's also the absolutely catastrophic crypto winter that we went through, the fall of FTX, the fall of Terra Luna. By the way, Terra Luna has Terraform Labs has filed a lawsuit against Jane Street. And by the way, this is me telling you that I might have been wrong about the company, the scumbaggery that was going on in Terra Luna, because it turns out that Jane Street used insider trading information to dump $85 million in UST called Terra back at the time to collapse the market. When the liquidity was pulled, they had inside information about what was going on, and they used it and leveraged it to short the market. And it cannot happen to a worse group of people. If Jane Street falls because of this, that would be amazing. But moving on here, let me get this straight. Don Jr. and Eric Trump can sell 49% of Trump's World Liberty crypto platform to the United Arab Emirates for $500 million in exchange for UAE's access to our AI chips, but Hunter Biden can't sell a painting. Does anybody ever look at this and say, wow, the Trump family really does clown a lot? By the way, if you're a fan of the Trump administration, if you're a fan of certain things, you at least have to be open to criticism, right? And this is not him. This is his kids selling access to their father, to AI chips and stuff like that for $500 million investment in their cryptocurrency. A cryptocurrency, by the way, that doesn't do anything. The one thing that does do something, USD1, stablecoin. And it just provides stability. I'd love to see Trump and family end up in jail for all they've done to crypto. No, Trump never gave a flying F about crypto. I knew this from the start. I just figured he'd fake it better. Joke's on all of us. And as you keep going down here, Eric Trump is currently deleting all of his crypto and WLFI posts. Trump family scammers. A sitting U.S. president launched 2 meme coins that wiped out $4.3 billion from retail investors, while insiders quietly cashed out $600 million. Trump is down 95% from $74 down to $3.41. And Melania is down from $13.73 all the way down to 12 cents. So these are, and by the way, these are not me making up numbers. These are numbers that we really are at right now. So continue going through here. I just put this out a little while ago, just for full disclosure here, despite the noise and complaints. So you guys, spoiler alert. And also, because I do the Bears content, I turned Donald Trump into Mike Ditka for the purpose of this. All right. So despite the noise and complaints, Donald Trump is and will be the best thing to happen to cryptocurrency. It's like he once said, they're not coming for me. They're coming for you. I'm just in the way. I wanted to keep that as simple as possible because what I wanted to do is I wanted to illustrate that Donald Trump is the best thing that will happen to cryptocurrency. Donald Trump is the one that's already pushed the Genius Act over the finish line, who's working diligently to get the Clarity Act passed through banks. And by the way, there's information coming out right around now that the banks are not necessarily backing off, but they're agreeing to a compromise. And remember, the banks came to the table last week not prepared for any sort of compromise. No bankers showed up, only the banking trade groups showed up, and they took their information back to the banks who, look, if crypto throws more money than the banks throw, things are going to change rapidly. And crypto right now has a lot of money to throw into challengers for public office. So this is a moment in time where I think all of these things will start to fit. The pieces right now, they don't fit, but they will start fitting very, very soon. So a lot of this has to do with tariffs. And the Supreme Court struck down Donald Trump's tariffs and called them unconstitutional because it is the job of Congress to decide on tariffs. It's not the job of the president. The president was given emergency powers, and he just created emergency after emergency after emergency in order to do what he wanted to do. That's not how a president acts. That's how a king acts. And if you are in MAGA, you might not even see that because you only respect the portions of the Constitution that you want to. You ignore the entirety of the laws because you like what somebody's doing. And to be fair, the reason that you might like that person even more is because that person has been under attack nonstop since the moment this heavy-set individual who's 6'9", 394 pounds, or whatever they say Donald Trump is, came down an escalator because he can't take stairs. Since then, he's been under attack. So no matter what you or I think or anybody else thinks, like this is a real attack that's been going on against the president of the United States for 10 years now, for 10 years. So it should be noted that people just don't believe the media anymore. They said that he was colluding with Russia. And we read the Mueller report. It wasn't that they were colluding with Russia. It was that they were trying to collude with Russia, but they were too stupid to do it. And that's what they said. That's not what I'm saying, by the way. The Mueller report interviewed multiple people there, and they said, we're just too stupid to do that. It doesn't mean that we didn't try. And by the way, it's nothing illegal about colluding with Russia. You just don't like Russia because Russia doesn't represent our Western values. But there's nothing illegal about it. So, and again, you can read the Mueller report. Most of you didn't. It's 434 pages long. So most of you, I know, didn't do it. You got your information lied to you by Bill Barr, who then got out in front of it because the Mueller report said a bunch of things that he didn't want you to know about. And then they wanted to convince you not to read it. But if you have the time in your life, you really should read it because it is fascinating. It is interesting how they tried to do it and how they kept writing down names incorrectly. Like the summary, for those of you that want the quick summary here, the Trump administration, members of the Trump administration, they did try to help Russia, and Russia tried to help the United States and the Trump administration. They did try to do that, but they kept screwing up because the people in the Trump administration kept writing down these Russian names incorrectly and then couldn't find them and contact them later. It's a wild scenario. Go read it. I'm telling you, go read it. But again, it's nothing illegal. So he's been under attack for all of this time. And every time something feels like it's going good, the attacks begin. Whether it be from Elizabeth Warren or Hakeem Jeffries, no matter where it comes from, there's always an attack on Donald Trump. It never ends. In fact, one of the articles that I read today was that that the House is two Democratic votes away from starting an impeachment process again. This is absolute insanity. This is not governing, by the way. This is what got Trump elected, by the way, the second time. These attacks, and the Democrats, they think that this is how they're going to win. This is their secret tool, and it's crazy, right? It's crazy that they think this is going to win. This is going to backfire dramatically on the Democrats if they don't watch their step. Nonetheless, Donald Trump, still the best thing to happen to cryptocurrency since the beginning. And now let's go to World Liberty Financial because this is important, okay? World Liberty Financial said late on Monday that hackers had gained unauthorized access to some of its co-founders' X accounts, including probably Eric Trump. In what is described as a coordinated attack, the group said the incident was focused solely on social media profiles rather than its underlying infrastructure or wallets that store digital tokens. So when people were saying that Eric Trump was deleting all of his posts, that might actually have been somebody else who had hacked it and they didn't say it out loud. Okay. The stablecoin known as USD1 had earlier on Monday breached the $1 mark it is designed to consistently trade at, falling as low as 99.4 cents, according to data from information provider CoinGecko. World Liberty Financial said social media influencers were paid to spread FUD or fear, uncertainty, and doubt in an attempt to knock the value of USD1 and profit from manufactured chaos. It did not provide evidence to back the claim. And by the way, that's probably not true. But that's what we all say when our crypto is getting attacked, that people were paid to FUD it. Nobody's being paid to FUD. Nobody, look, as an influencer, I can attest that every once in a while we come up with a nice project or something like that. Blocky comes to mind. And look, it didn't last a long period of time, but I got you guys into Blocky and I got you a 32x out of it. I got you into some other ones and we got 30 or 40x's out of it. Like, we made some good money off of some of these. And it's not just because of me, it's because we got in early, because we saw the opportunity, we made a big profit off of it, we didn't get too risky, and we didn't ride it to the bottom. We rode it up, we made a little bit of money, we got excited about the money that we made, and yay. So, and that happens, but on bigger platforms, some of that stuff happens a lot more. So all USD1 funds remain completely safe, secure, and fully backed. There it is, fully backed. So that 99.4 thing right there was just an aberration. The attack comes days after the group hosted a lavish day-long conference at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in West Palm Beach, convening finance and crypto titans along with celebrities. Its founding team includes the president's sons, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric, as well as Alex and Zach Witkoff. Okay, its founding team. The founding team was hacked. So we're talking about Donald Trump Jr., Eric, Alex, Zach Witkoff, the son of Steve Witkoff, the billionaire real estate mogul, now serves as the U.S. Special Envoy in the Middle East. So those four guys, they got hacked. One of them got hacked. Most likely, it's Eric. So, but here it is. Every time USD1 is minted, that capital directly flows into U.S. treasuries. We are already contributing billions in demand for U.S. government debt. So they're doing the right things at this point, but they got attacked. Now, data from crypto analysis company Arkham shows almost 4.5 billion of USD1 is held on the Binance exchange, which was co-founded by crypto billionaire CZ Binance, an attendee of the World Liberty Financial Conference last week. He was widely known as CZ, had in 2023 pled guilty to a criminal charge of failing to protect against money laundering at Binance, but was pardoned by the president in October. So there we have it. All right, now let's keep moving on because we got more news to go over. The end result of this, look, I think it's safe to say the end result of this should be that you understand Donald Trump is going to be the best president for cryptocurrency. Okay. No matter what the markets are pricing in right now, no matter what the crazy stuff is that's going on right now, Donald Trump is the best candidate for cryptocurrency. And he's got 3 more years to prove me right. And I think that that's going to be plenty of time. And D. Bender says, I read it and it never said that. Then you didn't read it. Then you did not read it. You did not read it because I read it because I was absolutely fascinated by it. And it sure as hell did say that. It did say multiple times that members of the administration continued to write the names down incorrectly. And that is what prevented them from communicating with and talking to the Russians. Again, something that wasn't illegal to begin with. So if we just said colluding with Russia, it's not a crime to begin with. So you're now arguing that the not crime that's not really a crime, that wasn't really a crime and wouldn't end up being a crime at the end, didn't really happen, but all the evidence was that it did happen. It doesn't matter. It wasn't illegal to begin with. So you're defending something that's not true by pretending that you did something that you didn't do. It's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Go read it. It's 434 pages long. 437 if you include the title, which was 3 pages. All right. So J. Manuel says, I sure made my money on Blocky. That's exactly right. I mean, we all made some money off of them. And then we had the other ones. We had those Jeff Kiradikis. We had those Jeff Kiradikis. I don't remember what they were called. I really don't. But I mean, we all made a pretty good bag off of each and every one of these different meme coins that we're launching over time. So let's just be excited about that, and let's move on. Ethereum Foundation begins staking 70,000 Ethereum. Futures open interest bounce. So the Ethereum Foundation on Tuesday said it has officially started in-house staking and plans to stake 70,000 Ethereum in the coming weeks as part of its treasury policy. This sparks massive buying in the derivatives market as open interest bounces, which means that people are going to start going long, or that should be good for a spike in the market. That doesn't mean that it's going to happen. The one other thing that's probably going to affect the market in the positive right now is the exposure that's happening right now because of this right here, okay? I guess we should probably go over this right now. Jane Street has been sued by the Terraform administration, indicating that they stole insider trading information and used it in order to capitalize, okay? Jane Street enjoyed impossible insider advantage amid $40 billion Terra collapse, the lawsuit alleges. And it's coming from the people who did it. It's coming from the people who did it. On Tuesday, the administrator overseeing Terraform Labs winding down filed a lawsuit against the high-powered, high-frequency trading firm Jane Street, its co-founder Robert Granieri, and two employees named Michael Huang and Bryce Pratt. Todd Snyder, the administrator, alleges that Jane Street used material, non-public information to profit from the collapse. The heavily redacted lawsuit claims that the trading firm was able to profit from trades that would have been impossible without inside information to which it had access. Jane Street, which earned more than $24 billion in the last quarter of 2025, told the Wall Street Journal the complaint was desperate and said it would defend itself vigorously against these baseless opportunistic claims. Now, that's, of course, what everybody says. But this is the bankruptcy administrator whose job it is to get the evidence, put the evidence together, and then file lawsuits to protect the bankruptcy courts, not the bankruptcy court, but to protect the investor like us who invested in Terraform and the Terra project or Luna or whichever one. Now, the depegging, Bryce Pratt sits at the center of the administration's allegation. He worked as an intern for Terraform Labs before joining Jane Street as a full-time employee in 2021. Given his work at Terraform, the complaint alleges that Pratt provided back-channel communication between the two firms. Now, they're not doing this without information. They're not doing this without some proof. This case is about settling accounts. It's about ensuring some measure of accountability in the wake of Terraform's collapse. So what does that mean? Well, that means most likely that Jane Street is going to go into hiding. And what has Jane Street been doing on the daily right now? Selling their options every single time, dumping on the market. This was one of the big ones that everybody, and look, it's an open secret at this point. They're one of the people that is dumping every day on the market. And at 9 o'clock every day, the market starts to collapse. Why does it start to collapse? Because Jane Street starts selling off again. And what is happening today? Suddenly, they're not selling off. Does that seem weird to you? Let's go look at the charts. Let's go look at the market. Let's go look, I don't know, on the hourly. What's going on the hourly right now? A pump. You can't make this up, folks. You can't make this up. If you go back 24 hours, here we are, right here, Jane Street o'clock, 9 o'clock, boom, the dump starts. Where are we at? This is the weekend, Friday, 9 o'clock here we go, right there. Jane Street dumps right there from 2.3 down to 2.7, $20 billion worth of dumpster right there. Same thing over here at 9 o'clock. We're having a nice little spike. And what happens? Jane Street comes on the clock. Did I say I meant clock. And then guess what? Dump again into the market every single time. It's without fail. It keeps going. Right here, boom. Same thing happening over here. Every single day, Jane Street dumps. What's happening today? All of a sudden, a lawsuit is filed and we start pumping because Jane Street's like, oh shit, we better stop what we're doing for just a little while and let this cool out just a tiny bit because damn. So, and now that's creating a little bit of a pump in the market to recover a little bit of that capital that's been leaking out for the last bunch of hours. This is overnight. So overnight, after the dumps yesterday, the continued dumps into this market, suddenly we see this little relief rally. Now, by the way, may not be any more than a relief rally of this. We might look at right around 2.2 trillion, 2.21 trillion. That might be the top of what we're talking about right now, because we are on this downtrend. And I don't think that that's going to discontinue. But it would be nice to see a reversal. I just don't see it. I mean, what's the reason for reversal? I mean, everything is selling on bad economic factors. Everything is selling off on difficult situations. So, we've got Iran out here. We've got all these different things that are happening right now. So there's no good news. There's no good news. So until we start getting good news, and by the way, not good news in crypto, good news in the world, okay? The Trump administration has not done a bang-up job of providing a safe landing spot for all of the world when it comes to trade with the United States, when it comes to money in the United States, when it comes to investing in the United States. They haven't done a very good job of that so far. But again, when you're doing something that is absolutely insane, and by the way, tariffing everybody is absolutely insane, but also the right move. So, again, even though it is crazy to see it happening, it was necessary to see it happen. So that does mean that you can look at this, and we're almost there. Okay, let me just put it this way: we're almost there. All right. So Ethereum, staking 70,000 Ethereum, that's a good sign. The 8 best white label RWA token platform. I'm not going to do very much with this but I wanted you to see that there are a couple of different potential opportunities here that that says this is a comparison of the top white label RWA. And by the way, this is an ad disclosure, but we're talking about Securitize, Token Eye, Polymath, Antier Solution, Blockchain App Factory, DigiShares, Block Square, and Bricken. I would start looking at some of these over the next couple of days. We're going to be looking at them. I copied this because I wanted you guys to see that these are the top 8 RWAs right now that is potentially out there as an investment that might be a big deal. Moving on, Operation Choke Point, Federal Reserve advances proposal to end crypto debanking. Now remember, the Trump administration was debanked. Donald Trump was debanked after January 6th, not because of crypto, but because of, whatever the Democrats did as they dressed up like MAGA to break into the Capitol and stop. Remember, Antifa didn't want Joe Biden elected president. So Antifa attacked the Capitol on January 6th to stop the certification of the election of their candidate because they actually secretly wanted Donald Trump or whatever ridiculous nonsense that you were being told. But the Federal Reserve has advanced its proposal to end crypto debanking by starting a 2-month comment period on a proposed rule on bank supervision. This will put Operation Choke Point to rest, and that will end all of the attacks on crypto, or at least the financial attacks on crypto. XRP price outlook as Clarity Act passes plunged to 53%. And that's the important part, not the price of XRP. The Clarity Act odds dropped to 53%. By the way, they dropped to 42% before correcting back up to 53% on Kalshi. So just to be very clear, it was at 72%, dropped to 42%, back up to 53%. So I think most people are looking at it and saying that, I think that it's actually going to pass. The decline came after the Trump administration announced a new tariff of 15%. It has nothing to do with it. Here we go. Polymarket odds fell from 70 to 53 and then rebounded later on Tuesday. And by the way, it was at 42% at one point. So yeah. It's getting crazy. Now, let's keep going here because there's more I want to get into, and we're running out of time here. SEC appoints Taylor Lindman as Crypto Task Force Chief Counsel. He is the former Chainlink Deputy General Counsel and was appointed Chief Counsel of the SEC's Crypto Task Force, succeeding Michael Sealy. This is a very pro-crypto guy, a very actually in the crypto business guy. At Chainlink Labs, Lindman handled legal strategies for Oracle networks and smart contract infrastructure in institutional finance. His background background includes work on decentralized protocols and tokenized assets. So crazy moment in time here where an actual real crypto bro is in charge at the SEC. So we're going to be watching that one. We're going to be wishing him the best, and hopefully that's going to be really good. Also, the Federal Reserve is now codifying removal of reputational risk from supervision. So there is a system by which reputational risk from banks is showing up if you hold digital asset, and they know that you hold digital assets. So if you're holding Bitcoin, then the banks are considering you a higher risk. Okay, and that's part of that choke point theory. So to see all of this starting to happen right now, these are the great things. Again, Donald Trump he's at the forefront of this right now. So this is the things that we're not seeing that are not moving the market right now, but they're going to move the market at some point soon. Again, this is all about getting the obstacles out of the way. The Trump administration is going a long way towards getting the obstacles right now out of the way for cryptocurrency, and that's a fascinating thing to see. Also, you can do this on Grok right now, so I wanted to do this and just see how it plays out. What are the breaking news of the day? So these are the things that you need to watch out for today. Number one, Trump's State of the Union is happening today. Some Democrats are walking out, but who gives a shit? Ooh, I don't like that at all. Pen thickness. That's a little better. All right, so we got the Trump State of the Union tonight. We got new global tariffs starting at 10%. But in addition to what's going on there, FedEx is now suing the administration for tariff refunds. Now, I forget, FedEx is a Chinese company? Because I was always told that FedEx is an American company and that American companies don't pay the tariffs, that the people who pay the tariffs are the country. The Trump administration has been telling me this for a long time. So why would FedEx, unless FedEx is from China? I don't know what's going on. Also, the EU is now pausing trade deals because of this. Stock market is now dumping. Dow Jones was down 900 points yesterday, which is one of the largest drops in history. Canadian officials are warning of escalating tensions. Broader economic indicators under Trump are mixed, stable in some areas, but facing pressure from trade policies. Again, this is where this whole trade war has been not playing out the way that we would hope for it to play out. So fingers crossed that the Trump administration can actually get a hand on it and we can actually get back to the business of risk assets. Now, in international conflicts, Russia and Ukraine has marked a 4-year anniversary. Zelensky refuses to give up and concede land to the Russians, warning from top generals against the U.S. potential military action in Iran due to high risks of a prolonged conflict. And Iran is reportedly nearing a deal for supersonic anti-ship missiles from China. So big things happening over in Iran right now. Also, Mexico, cartel violence. El Mencho was the name of the guy. He was one of those drug lords. And he was killed in an operation, and now the cartels are dressed in American-made military outfits, and they are setting fires to banks, businesses, and vehicles. Thousands of soldiers have been deployed to contain violence across states like Puerto Vallarta, which actually, what you were seeing, there was a lot of data coming out of Puerto Vallarta, oh my God, Puerto Vallarta over the last 24 hours. A lot of fires, a lot of cars being burned down, a lot of people who were there on vacation being told to bunker in place, get inside, do not come out right now. So crazy stuff going on in Mexico. We're wishing them all the best. But why is that happening if they're all here? Huh. It's crazy. Huh. It's crazy. I thought they were all here. I thought, It's weird, right? Robert Carradine has died at 71. Northeast U.S. digging out of major northeastern blizzard. Why did Trump allow a blizzard like this to happen, by the way? Why didn't Donald Trump stop this blizzard? I don't understand. And I know the reason that I asked that, and I know it sounds silly to some of you who are watching this, but the crybabies, did I say crybatches? I meant crybabies. The MAGA people have been spending 48 hours now crying about Zoran Mamdani, but he's not in charge. He's not the president of the United States. Donald Trump is. Why didn't Donald Trump just stop snow from happening? You know what I mean? Like, that's stupid. He should have. Why didn't he heat the roads? You know? You see how dumb that sounds? You see how dumb that sounds? Ongoing high-profile cases like Nancy Guthrie disappearance. In crypto markets, Bitcoin hovering around 63,000 and facing downward pressure, worst month since 2022, with tariff impacts and risk-off sentiment contributing. Ethereum and others are also down. Worst month since 2022 lows, which means... Now, deeper dive into crypto. Here's the prices, short-term viewing, key drivers. All right, so risk-off move. Investors are dumping high-risk assets like crypto in favor of safer havens like gold, which is up 2%. Broader economic ripple. Tariffs could slow global growth, weakening the U.S. dollar slightly and hit corporate profits, echoing trade war effects from 2018-2019. Donald Trump again. Crypto, often seen as a risk asset, correlates with NASDAQ, which is down 1% yesterday. And ongoing Iran tensions and no clear resolution in Ukraine are adding to the mix, pushing sentiment lower. Now, I don't think the Ukraine thing is really having an effect on the market. I think it's the ongoing Iran tensions. But I think that we just kind of add a little piece in there to make it sound more diverse. I don't think that Ukraine really has anything to do with it right now. Diving into recent X discussions, and there's about 5 or 6 different ones. Even Alex Becker, and look, I'm not a lesbian fan. I like their websites, but he's offering a contrarian view. Am I supposed to say he or she? I don't understand yet. Arguing the dip stems from overvaluation. Solana's 70x revenue multiple, rather than just Trump, and sees it as a buying opportunity amid growing adoption. Right? He's just, engagement farming you for bold narrative. So there you have it. Why am I in here? What the fuck? Huh. Who knew? All right, so let's take a quick look at the market here before we get out of here. Still down on the day. Crypto bubble's not really showing up. ICP up 1.64%, having a nice little surge. But again, it's a very small surge based on the market conditions. Pippin up 7.5%. PulseX up 7%. Stable at 4.5%. Monero up 3%. So just not a lot. DCR up 7%. Again, not a lot. The ETFs, we had outflows, 203 million actually. Yesterday, we had outflows of 50 million on the Ethereum ETF, but we had Solana inflows totaling 8 million and no XRP inflows at all. So, Crypto Fear and Greed Index currently sitting at 9. That's not a great sign. It's not, that's not going to set the world on fire right there. And then Bitcoin liquidation levels. Again, this is all about upside momentum right here. There is just too much money sitting right now. This is just too much money just sitting idly right now. The move still to the upside. The move is still to the upside. So we will see whether or not we get there, but who the hell knows? Now, on to the rest of the market. We're down about 21 billion on the day. ICP is in fact up on the day. Trump is up 2% on the day. Pendle's up 2% on the day. Arrow is up another 7%. Arrow really breaking out right now. Aerodrome Finance on the base chain is having a nice little recovery right now for real. We've got Avantis up 3% on the day. We've got Brett, Dash, DJT all up between 1% and 2%. Not a lot of movement here. Seeker is up 31% right now. It's on the 1 hour, broke out, looks like around last night, around 31%. What a nice little breakout for anybody who was involved on that one. So shout out to you. And finally, the 24-hour DEX volume, we got 3 billion on Solana. We got 1.7, which means we're at about 5 billion, right? At 3, we're going to call that 4.3. We're going to call it 5, and we're going to call it 6. We're about $6 billion, which means we're up $2 billion from Monday to Tuesday. So we've got about $7 billion from the top 4 in trading volume. We need to do double that to start getting some of that steam back in the market. Otherwise, we're just kind of cooked. All right. So I think that's got it. Yeah, we're up. All right, guys. that is it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, none of this is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not qualified to provide you with financial advice. When I give you information right here, I sometimes speak in the first person, second person, and third person, talking to you about cryptocurrency and what could or should happen. When I'm saying that you should do something, I'm actually saying that I should do something, and I'm saying it because I probably am telling it to myself. That's what I'm doing here. So don't take what I say to heart. Always do your own research. Always investigate everything that I'm talking about to see if you agree with that sentiment, and then let me know. If you make money, then good for you. If you agree with my assessment from your own assessment, then shout out. That means we're thinking alike. Otherwise, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Chicago Bears channel. I get a lot of engagement over there, a lot of people talking about it. A lot of people are saying it's one of the coolest channels in all of YouTube. A lot of people are saying it. So that's it. It's not financial advice. I'm always right. We'll talk to you guys again.